Everybody, we're going to do a hip mobility yoga practice today. So I'm going to do some different kinds of mobility exercises, stretches to help get the hips feeling maybe a little bit freer. So let's get started. Let's start with our hands behind our back and our legs out in a wide V position. You can use your hands to support yourself here. Your legs don't have to be super wide, just wide enough that it feels comfortable and that you're able to sit up straight. And again, you can use your hands to support you back here. Let's take a moment to just feel the insides of our legs, the outsides of our legs. Kind of feel what's going on in the hips. Are your hips feeling tight today? Are they feeling loose today? Just kind of tuning into our bodies and seeing where we're holding, where we're at. So let's start by giving our hips a little bit of mobility, a little motion here. Rolling the thighs in and out. Real simple movement. Feeling the thighs roll in and out. Noticing, of course, that your feet are moving, but that we're not initiating movement from the feet. We're initiating movement from up in the hips. And then bringing the legs a little closer together, let's do that same movement. Just see how it feels. Does it feel really tight? Does it feel like there's not a lot of range? Does it feel like there is a lot of movement? Bring your legs in maybe a touch closer. Give them a roll. How's that feeling? Bring them right in front of you. Rolling the hips in and out. Maybe now you might even release your hands and put your hands on your hips or on your thighs to really feel the motion of your thigh bone rolling in and rolling out. Nice, and then kind of just give them a shake and shake them out back to where we started. Nice. And then let's bring our hands behind our backs and let's come into a 90-90 position. So let's come into a closed 90-90, so like a mermaid position with our right leg in front and our left leg behind. And in this position, some of you might find like it's even this is challenging to sit up. And if that's the case, you can grab hold of a blanket and kind of stuff it underneath to help sit yourself up. You can really pull your legs in quite close to you. And if need be, you can also put your hand down on the side. You can put your right hand down for a little bit of support. So let's just tune in once again. How do our hips feel in this mermaid type position, pinwheel type position with our legs pulled in? So let's all put our right hand down on the floor and let's give ourselves a good stretch. Inhaling the left hand up and over the left ear. You can bend your right elbow as much as you like as you begin to reach that left hand, stretching out the left side body, elongating everything along that left side. Making sure to continue breathing, in particular, try to breathe into this left side of your body. Let's take one more breath here and then come back up. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, come all the way over. And then come on back up. Yeah, how does that feel? Let's bring our hands over to the right side. So giving ourselves a bit of a twist here. Planting our palms down on the right side. Twisting our chest towards the right side so our chest is between our thumbs. And then maybe you want to bend your elbows a little bit. So bend and straighten the elbows. So it's like a little bit like a push-up here. But you might be getting some feelings in your hips already. Hips kind of waking up. A little come back up. Like that. And then let's bring our hands behind us and let's do that on the other side. So we're going to switch our legs coming into that pinwheel position again. Now with the left leg forward, plant our left hand on the floor. Inhale the right hand up and reach it over. You can let your left elbow bend as you reach the right fingertips away from you. Maybe you want to spin your chest a little bit towards the ceiling. Reach it out as you settle the right hip towards the floor. So as if the right side was glued down and the right fingertips were reaching away, really stretching out the right side of the body. And then let's come back up. Let's twist to the left now, bringing both hands to the floor. Spin your chest in between your thumbs and bend and straighten your elbows a couple of times. And notice how that feels through the pelvis, through the low back, through the hips. It's a nice hip hinge happening over here. And then walk it back to the front. Bring your hands behind you and your feet out in front. And again, you can use your hands for support as we start to windshield wiper the knees from side to side. So as we windshield wiper the knees from side to side, try to be really conscious of the movement. So we're not just like flinging the knees, rather we're really controlling the movement from side to side. Trying to tap the right knee down as we roll to the left, and then trying to tap the left knee down as we roll to the right. And one more time each side. And then let's come back to the center. Let's bring the soles of the feet together for a butterfly pose. Now, you don't need to draw the feet super close in towards your groin. You can let your feet be quite a ways away. Just find the place that feels most effective in your body. So as you hold on to your shins, your elbows rest lightly on your knees. You don't need to force them open, but you can just kind of let the knees relax down towards the floor as we inhale and lengthen through the spine, and then exhale and hinge forward. And you may not go very far. It's a slight hinge. More important to try to keep that feeling of long length through the spine, long spine. And release that. Bring the knees together. And let's come back now into that pinwheel position. This time, let's make it more of the 90-90 shape. So the front shin is parallel to the long edge of the mat, and the back leg, the shin, is parallel to the short edge of the mat. If this position feels just like not doable, too uncomfortable, begin to draw the legs in back towards that pinwheel shape that we started in, and then stop at whatever place feels most manageable. Because in this 90-90 position, we do want to be able to try to sit up unassisted. So is it possible to lean on the hands and then to maybe release the hands and sit unassisted with the hands at the center? Using our legs for support. So pressing the legs down into the floor. This is a lot of range of motion demanded of the hips here. So we're really getting into the range of the hips in their rotations. So, okay, from here, we're going to bring our hands to either side of our front leg. We're going to inhale and lengthen the spine, and as we exhale, we're going to hinge down over that front leg. So this is a sort of a variation of pigeon pose, if you're familiar with pigeon. Good. And then come back up. And then once again, draw the chest down towards your right shin. And come back up. And once more, coming down. Maybe this time you're on your fingertips. And come back up. Now let's bring our right hand to the floor for a little bit of support. Let's look at our back leg. You could bring your left hand to your left hip. And let's lift our left knee up. So the left foot is staying solid to the ground. The right leg as well, solid to the ground as we lift that back knee up. So really getting into the rotation and this external rotation in this back hip. It's quite intense. Make sure you're breathing. And then let's do the opposite movement. So ground down, root down through your front leg. So that's your support. Root down through the left knee. So look at that left knee. Okay, that left knee is glued, rooted down to the ground as we now lift the back foot and set it down. Now that back foot is not going to lift very much. And at the same time, we're trying not to tip over. We're trying to keep our torso as upright as possible. And you may feel like some cramping in the muscles of the hip as you do this. And that's okay. That's fine. That's the muscles working, that internal rotation of the hip. Let's do one more. Awesome. All right. Now, let's come down onto our right elbow. And this will kind of be a nice little release. As we inhale, reach your left hand up, even back, open up your chest. And then exhale, slide your left hand underneath your right armpit, threading the needle, giving your spine a nice twist. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, and then exhale, slide it under. 1 more time. Inhale, open up the chest, and then exhale, slide it under. Nice. And then let's come back up. And then we're going to switch sides, but we're going to switch sides with control. We're going to keep on working that mobility. So let's lift our left knee. Okay, so that left knee is opening up. At the same time, we're trying our best to keep our right leg solid to the ground. So as we lift that left leg, at some point, there's no choice, that right leg has to come up as well. We come through center with control, making our way to the other side. Aha. Let's do that 1 more time, there and back. So let's lift our right knee up. Now I'm not using my hands, but you can put your hands behind you if you need a little more support for this movement. As that right leg comes up, the left leg eventually follows, and with control, we make our way back to where we started. Let's go 1 more time to the other direction, and then we're going to stay there. So let's open up that back leg. Open it, open it, open it. Can we keep our right leg down until there's no choice but that right leg's got to come along for the ride? And we make our way to the other side. Now I'm just going to swivel around so that you're not looking at my back. So now we're 90-90 with the left leg forward. Okay, now once again, you can draw the legs in to any degree that feels good for you, to more of the pinwheel position, the more to the 90-90 with your knee in line with your hip in a vertical way and your knee in line with your hip horizontally, the more intense, the more range of motion is demanded of your hips. Okay, so let's see, is it possible here to sit up nice and tall? And I'll tell you that just sitting up tall in this 90-90 position is really great work for your hip mobility, and will probably, though feel challenging, probably feel really good. Okay, so then let's bring our hands to either side of the front foot. Let's lengthen the spine, inhale, and on the exhale, let's lower down over that front leg, and then come back up. Now the idea here is to really be able to use the strength of your hips to press down into the floor and then to perform the movement, to come down and then to be able to lift yourself up without having to push off with your hands. So we're using our hands for a little bit of support, but as you can see, I'm kind of on my fingertips so that I'm not dumping down into my hands. I think we're going to do 1 more and come back up, and that's really good. And then we're going to bring our left hand to the floor, and we're going to bring our attention to the back leg. Right hand's coming to the right hip, and we're going to lift the right knee and put it down, and do that a couple of times. So this is external rotation of this back hip, but the hip is already in an externally rotated, outwardly rotated position here. So it's really intense, this movement, and that's how it's kind of what it's meant to be. And you might feel feel lots of sensation through that back hip right now. And then let's do the motion in the other way, the internal rotation, pressing this knee down into the floor, using the front leg as well for a base of support. Let's lift that back foot. And you'll probably feel right away that your body wants to lean more into your left hand for this. And the more you could sit upright, the more muscular work your body will be doing on its own. It is not easy. Okay, and then let's come down onto this left forearm and kind of just stretch things out by opening up the chest, reaching the right arm back, and then as we exhale, rotate down, close the chest, reach under your left armpit. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach it up, and then exhale, close the chest towards the floor. Inhale one more time, open the chest. Exhale, close the chest, reach underneath. Come back up, and let's do that really fun, controlled windshield wiper again. So, hands for support or not, up to you. Let's begin to open this back leg. Back knee is coming up, left knee is pressing down until it can't anymore. And then with control, we make our way to the other side. And then let's go back the way we came. Left knee goes up. And the right leg eventually follows until we're back in the front. Amazing. Let's stay over here. And we're going to come right onto all fours. So just make your way into all fours. Maybe you feel like you want to do a little bit of hip circling here, just to kind of iron things out a little bit, and that's good. And just change directions, do it in both directions. Kind of organic, just let your body move how it wants to. And then let's come to all fours. So our wrists are underneath our shoulders, our knees are underneath our hips. We're not sagging down, we're pressing the ground away, feeling nice and solid here. Let's just take a couple of cat-cows to kind of get oriented. So let's inhale, tuck the toes, lift the chest and the tailbone. Exhale, untuck the toes, round the spine, press the ground away as you lift the front body towards the ceiling. One more time, inhale, looking up, tucking the toes. Exhale, round the spine, push the ground away. Come to your neutral spine now. So find what feels like your neutral spine. And we're going to do some hip circles. So freeing up the right hip, the right knee. We're going to lift the right knee. We're going to kick the foot up to the ceiling. And then we're going to rotate so that the knee begins to point towards the ceiling as the foot drops towards the floor. Let's draw that knee in towards the right elbow. Circle it underneath us, and then start that motion again. Now the trick in these hip circles is to try our best to isolate the movement just to the hip so that we don't feel like a lot of weight shifting, a lot of swaying of the body, a lot of movement in the low back. And you might find that the movement is not as big if you really isolate it just to the hip joint. Okay, let's change directions. Let's draw the knee in towards the chest, out to the side, around, up to the ceiling, and then into the chest. Let's do that one more time. Big hip circle, and then set the knee down. Let's give our wrists a little break by sitting back into a child's pose. Release the chest down towards the thighs. And take a breath into your low back. Feel the low back expand with each breath. Inhaling exhaling here. Good, let's draw ourselves back up. Coming back onto all fours. And we're going to do those hip circles in the opposite leg, in the left leg. So let's bring that left foot up towards the ceiling, circling out to the side, drawing the left knee in towards the left elbow, underneath the chest, and then start the movement again. Now, if you can, really think about pulling your heel in towards your bum as you do this move. So really engaging the hamstrings as well as we squeeze an imaginary piece of paper in the back of our knee. And then let's change directions. Draw the knee in, out to the side, big circle, and back underneath us. One more time, out to the side, around, and back. And let's tuck our toes this time, sit back on the heels, walk our fingers or walk our hands in close to the knees, and let's kind of stretch the wrists out a little bit. So bring your hands with the fingers pointing out, do a little weight shifting, side to side. And then let's come onto the back of our hand, one hand at a time. Give that a little stretch, each side. The closer your hands are to your knees, the less intense these stretches will feel. So I'm kind of purposely keeping us close to our knees right now. Okay, and then let's come up back towards the all fours position. And let's do that again. Let's rock from side to side on our wrists. Let's turn our fingers in towards each other and rock it from side to side. And let's bring the fingers towards the knees and shift. And let's make some fists. Come onto your fists, and you can rock and shift the weight. See what feels good through. You can even walk your hands forward. The further forward you walk your hands, the more weight you're putting through your wrists, which you may be able to do in this position because the wrists are in a neutral position, so it may not feel so intense. You can do it like that. And then let's just sit it back and shake it out. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Okay. Roll out the wrists. Yeah. And then let's come up onto our knees. And let's step our right foot forward, coming into a lunge. Coming onto the top of the back foot, press your whole back shin down into the floor so that everything there feels really, really solid. Tuck your pelvis under and engage the glutes, the bum muscles of your left side, of your left hip. Okay, so you're going to feel probably some stretch through the front of the hip, maybe some work happening in the back of your left leg. That's really good. And then you can take your weight forward a little bit. Okay, as we shift all the body weight forward, you'll probably feel even more of a stretch through that front, the front of the left thigh. Let's take our right hand and bring it behind our back. Give ourselves a bit of a shoulder opener. And on the inhale, let's reach our left hand up towards the ceiling. Keep that engagement in your left glute. If you want to rest your right hand on your left bum so that you could feel that that muscle is working, those muscles are working, so do that. That's great. And then let's reach that left hand up. And then if you want a little more intensity, reach it over. Reach it over towards the right. And then you can reach it towards the back as well. So we're reaching on a diagonal towards the right and the back. Make sure you're breathing, filling up and expanding the rib cage, front and back, and both sides. Nice. Come back up, release your hands. Bring your left hand down to the floor. And peel the right hand up towards the ceiling for a twist. Solid through your left hand, reaching through the right fingertips. Lean back into your right shoulder blade. Great. Bring the hands down to frame the right foot. You can grab some blocks here if you like, if you happen to have blocks. I often use blocks for my low lunges. I find I really enjoy that little bit of extra length of my arms, or bringing the floor up towards me. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, come into a low lunge. Press the ground away, reach out through the crown of the head, reach out through your back heel. And now we're going to lower and lift the back knee. So let's lower the back knee and lift it. And if you want to pair this movement to your breath, that could be a good idea. For some people, it might be inhale, lower, exhale, lift. While for other people, it might be exhale as you lower and inhale as you lift. See what works for you. So let's lift and lower that back leg. Drop the knee and then press the back of the knee up towards the ceiling. One more time. Nice. And then drop that knee. Come back up. Top of the back foot. And bring your right foot in. Left foot comes forward. We're going to do that same thing. Press the back shin down into the floor. Tuck the pelvis. Squeeze the glutes on the left side. Then shift your weight forward a little bit so that we're not dumping into the low back, because that could hurt. And it doesn't really target the muscles that we're trying to stretch. Okay, so let's lean forward a little bit. Then let's bring our left arm behind us. You could rest it on your right buttock. Feel those muscles, nice and contracted. Inhale, reach the right hand up. Yeah, feel the stretch, feel the length through that whole right side body. And then arc over. Arc over towards the left, and then maybe a little bit towards the back as well. One more breath here. And then release that. Bring the hands down to frame the left foot, coming onto blocks or coming onto the floor. Tucking the back toes. Lift the back knee, coming into a low lunge. Good, and then let's do that lower and lift. So really getting into those hip flexors here on the right side. So tapping down with the knee and then pressing the back of the knee, the back of the thigh up towards the ceiling. Let's do a couple more here. How you doing? How are your hips? And lower the knee down. Come back up and draw the left knee underneath you. And really nice. Okay. From here, let's bring our hands down to the floor, coming back to all fours, and let's lift ourselves up to a downward facing dog. So lift the hips high, bend your knees, draw your hips back. Think about sending your hips towards the line where the ceiling and the wall meet. So if you need to bend your knees to do that, go ahead and do that. You can pedal out your feet here. So bending the right knee and letting the left heel make its way to the floor, and then bending your left knee, right heel towards the floor. One more time, each side. Then let's drop our left knee towards the floor and bring the right foot forward, coming back into a lunge. Okay, so we're now familiar with this place. It feels pretty good. So let's bring our left hand down to the floor. Peel your right hand up towards the ceiling. Reach up for a twist. Tuck your back toes, lift the back knee. Lean back into that right shoulder blade. One more breath here. Lower the back knee. Bring your right hand to your hip. Bring your left hand onto a block if you have one. If not, you could be on your fingertips, that's fine. Hand comes onto the block, and let's find some rotation through that front leg. So let's bring that right knee out and then in. And you could be rolling through your foot. And I like to have the hand, my right hand on my hip, so that I can A, feel the movement, and B, it's out of the way. Don't get in the way. Let's do a couple more of these nice rotations. Nice. Okay, hands come on either side of the right foot. Lift the back knee. Right foot comes back to join the left foot. Press up to a downward facing dog. And before we do the other side, let's take it through a little vinyasa flow. So from our downward facing dog, let's draw the body forward into a plank, pushing the ground away, resisting gravity. Lower the knees to the floor. Pull yourself all the way down to the floor in one solid piece. Untuck your toes. Draw the outer edges of your outer ankles together. And then pull your elbows back. Lift up to a cobra. Inhale here. Exhale. Come on down. Tuck your toes. Push the ground away. Come onto your knees. And lift back up to a downward facing dog. Lower your right knee to the floor. Bring your left foot forward. Let's do that same thing. So let's plant our right hand on the floor. Reach the left hand up for the ceiling. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. Settle into this twist. Pressing the floor, reaching the fingertips up, reaching the back of the right knee towards the ceiling. Drop the knee. Come back to center, and then let's come on up. Grab a block if you have it, place it underneath your hand. Left hand comes to your left hip, and let's find that rotation. So that knee rolling in and out, but of course the movement is not from the knee. We're doing external and internal hip rotation. Coming back to center, move the block out of the way, plant your hands on the floor, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, front foot joins the back foot, downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. And then slide yourself forward into plank, push the ground away, resist gravity, lower your knees, pull yourself down to the ground, untuck your toes, and rest your forehead on your hands. Pile your hands one on top of the other. Rest your forehead here. Bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Windshield wiper side to side. Giving your nervous system a little time to calm down. Okay. Nice. Let the legs come back to the floor. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, and then using the strength of your shoulders and your knees, push yourself up. Come onto your knees. Tuck your toes. Lift yourself up into downward facing dog. And then walk your hands and your feet towards each other. Coming into a forward fold. Release your head. Let your knees bend a lot so that you can feel like you're releasing here. Nod your head yes. Nod your head no. And then pressing through your feet, roll yourself up. Coming all the way up to stand. And find yourself in standing. Okay. This is great. Coming to the front of the mat, let's spread the toes wide, stand nice and tall. We'll go through one little series of standing poses, and then we'll come down and do some stuff on our back. So here we go. Let's inhale. Reach your hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, palms together. Bring it to center. Let's do that again with a forward fold. So inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips. Come all the way down. Inhale, come halfway up. flat back, reaching out through the crown of the head, using your hands almost as buttresses so they're connecting with your shins and they're supporting the whole length of your spine. An exhale brings us all the way down to a forward fold, and let's step our left foot all the way back into a lunge. Good. From here, we're going to come onto the tips of our fingers, strong legs. Imagine your legs scissoring together as we come up into a high lunge. Reach your hands up for the ceiling, stretch it nice and tall. Similar to how we did in the low lunge, let's bring our right arm behind us. Feel those glutes working on the left side. Reach your left hand up for the ceiling and reach it over towards the right. One breath here, release your right hand, hands come up to the ceiling, and then we're going to spin around into a warrior two. Good. So I'm going to just do a little spin so that I can see you. So we've got our right foot forward, our left foot back, and we're in warrior two. Front knee is bent, arms are reaching. Good. Okay, a little variation here. Bring your hands to your hips. As we inhale, we're going to lengthen through the front leg and hinge over the front thigh and come back. So let's try that again. Inhale, lengthen the front leg, hinge over the front thigh. Good. Inhale, lengthen, and then on an exhale, rebend. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lengthen the leg, hinge over the front leg. So it might feel a little bit like triangle pose, but we're really working into that hip hinge, which is really good to work the mobility of our hips and pelvis. Hinging over the front thigh. Good. Okay, this time we're going to hinge and stay here. So our front leg is pretty straight. It doesn't have to be locked out. Wherever feels stable for you as we hinge over. And then maybe we rest our right hand on our right shin and reach the left hand up. And here we are in a triangle position. Take one more breath here, strong through the legs. And then back to warrior two. Reverse your warrior, left hand down, left leg. Reach the right hand up towards the ceiling. And then back to warrior two. Good. Flip your feet so that they're both facing the same direction, parallel. And then shift your weight towards the left, bending your left knee, coming into a side lunge. So you can have your hands on your hips, or if you want for a little counterbalance, you could bring your hands out in front. Nice. Come back up. Let's rotate towards the right leg. So right leg flips out. We spin onto the toes of the back leg, come back down, hands to the floor. Front foot joins the back foot. Press up into a downward facing dog. And let's come through a vinyasa. So slide forward to plank, lower your knees, pull yourself down, tops of the feet. Pull the elbows back, come into cobra. Lower down, use the strength of your shoulders, push up onto your knees, and downward facing dog. Beautiful. Okay, from here we're going to step our left foot forward. So we're going to bring the left foot, draw it underneath us, press the ground away, and step that foot forward. Good, left foot comes forward, we're in a low lunge. I'm going to flip around again so that I could be facing you. Okay, left foot forward, right foot back. We're in our low lunge, coming onto the fingertips. We rise up, woohoo, into that high lunge. Reach the hands up. Good, find your stability here. Press into the ground through the left heel. Try your best to square the hips towards the front. Inhale, reach up. Let's bring that left hand around back. Settle it on the glutes so you can feel the glutes working. Reach your right hand up and over. back up to center. Swivel around to your warrior two. Bending through that front knee. Pressing out through the back, through the pinky edge of your back foot. Bring your hands to your hips for that triangle variation. Inhale, lengthen the front leg, hinge over the front thigh. Good. Let's do that a few times. So what I find helpful when I'm doing this is to take my left hand and really get it into the hip crease so that I can really find where that hinge is supposed to be happening. Good. Let's do it one more time and then we're going to stay. Good. So we're hinged here, we're long through the side body, left hand to the left shin, right hand reaches up. Take a couple of breaths here as you feel how solid your legs are. Can you feel your inner thighs working to hold you in this position as if your legs were trying to pull together? Good, and then let's rebend that front leg. Come up to warrior two. Reverse it, right hand comes down right leg. Reach the left hand up and over. Good, back to warrior two. Parallel the feet. And then let's take a side lunge to the right. So as we side lunge, you want to make sure you're not tipping forward. Rather, you're sitting back so that we're getting, again, a nice hip hinge here. Reaching the tush back, sending the weight back. So you may be up here, and that's fine. And some of you may be all the way down to the floor, and that's fine too. Wherever you feel like you can hinge and have control of the movement. And then let's come back up, swivel back to the top of the mat, left foot rebend, swivel to the top of the toes, hands come down to the mat, front foot joins the back foot, take it up to a downward facing dog, iron everything out, inhale, come forward, exhale, lower the knees, lower the chest all the way to the floor, stay here. Bring your hands underneath your forehead, bend your knees, and this time instead of windshield wipering, we're going to windshield wiper in the opposite. We're going to make a crisscross. So we're going to crisscross the legs one way and then open them up. And then crisscross the other way and open and crisscross and open. And each time opposite. First right comes in front and then left. Good, and release your legs down to the floor. And then use the strength of your shoulders to press yourself up onto your knees, roll yourself back, and come all the way back into a squat. Now when I do a squat, what I really, really like, if you happen to have a towel or a blanket handy, is I just slide it underneath my heels. And rather than like putting something hard under my heels, this affords me the option of getting my heels almost to the floor but not quite, and I can press into the blanket so that I can really feel like I'm working towards that mobility of getting my heels down to the floor. So coming into a really deep squat here, you want to not feel like you're rounded forward. If you feel like you're rounded forward, so you've got to come up, then maybe you're up here. So you want to feel like you can look straight in front of you, like your chest is lifted in this position. So let's rock a little from side to side in this squat, shifting our weight side to side. And then let's put our hands on the floor and let's lift our bum up towards the ceiling. You're getting a nice stretch now through the whole back body. And then let's come back down to that squat. And your squat can be really wide if that's what feels good, if that's what enables you to get down here and to feel like you are in control of the movement. So make your legs really wide. It's totally fine. And then let's lift up the hips and come back down. Good. can rock it from side to side. Be a little organic with it. Do what feels good through the hips, moving from side to side. Hands come down, lift up the bum. And then let's come all the way down. And this time let's sit right down on our tush. Amazing. Let's scooch ourselves forward. And let's come all the way down to our backs. Last little bit here. So let's bend our knees, soles of the feet together, and let's release the knees down to the floor. If you happen to have some blocks, what feels really good is to take the blocks and prop your knees up with the blocks. So you're on the edge of the block. The blocks are at an angle, and you use them to prop up your knees. And then we can just release here. You can really feel like you're able to let go because you've got the blocks there to take the weight of your legs. A couple of breaths here, letting things settle. Out and walk your knees out. Knees come in like in a knock-knee position as we walk the feet out. Now this one also you can do with a block. You can put a block in between your knees. If you don't have a block, that's fine also, but makes it a little more comfortable with the block between the knees. And continue to let the breath settle, filling up the belly, the sides, the back body. Can you start to calm things down here? And then let's release that position, put the block aside, and we'll just do one more stretch here, bringing our right ankle to cross over our left thigh. Open up the hip by pressing the knee away from you. And then I like to do this actively first before we do the passive stretch. So with our arms by our sides, let's lift our left knee in towards our left shoulder. Pull that leg in until you feel some sensation through your right outer hip, and then put the leg down. Now let's do that a couple of times. This up and down movement. Lifting and lowering left knee in the direction of your left shoulder. Okay, this time hold your legs up where they are. Give a nice flex to your right ankle. Take hold of your right leg. So left hand holds the sole of the foot, right hand holds the knee. And you're going to hold your leg in position as you lower your left foot towards the floor. And then bring it up again. Okay, now we're going to make it a touch harder. Lower your left foot to the floor and let go with your hands. Can you keep your right leg exactly where it was in that reclined pigeon position? Lift the left leg. Keep the right leg where it is. Lower your left leg down. Lift your left leg, catch the right ankle, and then draw it in close and go for that passive stretch. Interlace your fingers behind your left thigh, rock from side to side. As you lay here kind of passively, can you lengthen the tailbone away from you? So as you're pulling your left knee in towards your left shoulder, can you at the same time find this kind of counter movement of lengthening the tailbone? Big breath in and out, and release. Switch sides, and then we're done. So let's cross our left ankle over our right knee or right thigh. Send that left knee away. And then let's lift it up. So we do the active movement first, lifting and lowering. Right knee comes towards right shoulder and then back down. This time, let's lift it up. And right hand comes to the left sole of the foot. Left hand comes to hold on to your knee, onto your left knee. Hold the leg where it is as the right foot lowers down to the floor. Right knee comes back up. And then let's let go. Ooh, this one's way harder for me. And lift it up. Catch the ankle. Lower the right knee. Try to keep the left leg in position. It's really hard. And come back in. Catch your right thigh. Interlace the fingers behind the thigh. And just go for that passive stretch. Drawing the right knee towards the right shoulder. Lengthening the tailbone away from you. And breathe. Release your legs. Legs come to the floor. Left foot to left side of the mat. Right foot to the right side. And windshield wiper the legs. So, as opposed to how we did it way at the beginning, with a lot of control, now you can just let the legs go side to side. And then if you like, you can reach the arms overhead and allow the arms to sway in opposition to the legs. So as the legs fall to the right, the arms sway to the left. And you just get this nice full body twisting, stretching feeling. Draw the knees in towards the chest, hug them in close, rock from side to side. Tune in to your hips. How are your hips feeling right now? Bring your hands to your knees. And we're going to make some hip circles. So this is kind of passive as we're letting our hands guide the legs. But I'm just doing this because I want you to see, how do your hips feel now? We did a lot of mobility work for the hips here. And just release everything down. Finish off with any last stretches or any last movements that you would like. And then you can make yourself comfortable laying down on the floor. Maybe stick a pillow under your head. Grab a blanket, grab an eye pillow. And I will leave you here for Shavasana. Try to take a few minutes to let your body relax and restore. And then let me know how your hips are feeling. That was great. Thanks, guys.